So it's kind of hard to say, but I have updated to the community firmware off Facebook. You can get it off the github.com/CR6 community. Version I'm on is the CR6 revision 15, or sorry, release 5. You can turn sound on and off, turn the LED on and off. So if you turn the sound off, it doesn't beep anymore. I kind of like that though. Testing it out, I've made 2 small cubes with it so far. Absolutely perfectly flawless. The only issue, not an issue other than my misunderstanding, when it does the bed leveling, it's designed so that when the hot end touches the bed, it turns the heater off to the thermistor or to the hot end, and then when it lifts, it turns it back on. So I was seeing it go from the temp of 120 to 0, 120, 0, 120, 0. I'm like, what is wrong? Never had an issue with my thermistor before. What's this? Well, it's designed that way in the firmware, which is fine. And and it's not even a real complaint, it's just my personal preference. I know there's a big glare. There we go. I am not a fan of red. You can see pretty much on my printer is blue. My Chiron, as you can see, is yellow, and the firmware on it is yellow. But now the firmware on my CR6 is red. Yeah, so there we go. Just wanted to share that real quick. I'm actually going to be doing a thing on my tank and all these wonderful tracks I've been making and putting them together. That's actually what we're going to be doing. I'm going to tie this in with it, just because. I do have it warmed up. And if you look over here, I have it set up on OctoPrint. But we're going to jump over and just do a screen share and see it better. Let's see, where is it? There it is. So we're connected to my CR6. You can tell us that anywhere, but that's what it is. Temps are heated up, it looks like. And we are going to do a full cube this time. Somewhere in here is a cube with a 5 behind it. Calibration cube. There it is. Drop that over there. And load it. And check. The temps are good. And this is what it's supposed to be printing. And here's where the nozzle will be after it does the white and then start the print. I'll come back to that in a moment. Optomaps I do have turned on. This is just the last picture I took. This is where it currently is. And resources temp is down. Good actually. Let's go ahead and start the print. Move to right, sure, that's fine. Now one thing I've noticed with the leveling and the starting of a print, massively slow. It says heating up and homing, please wait. What? It's already up to temp. I've played this game before. I know to turn the temp up. But after it does the home, it just kind of sits there. Just takes it a few seconds. I'll pull this little stringy off, and then it's going to sit there again. I don't know why or what need it has of this. I'll get you down here where you can see the temps. Actually, the Mr. Temp, or the hot end temp, did drop down to 190, it looked like. I have it set to 206. I have a feeling that's part of when it homes. It's kind of annoying, but if we know what it is and why it's doing it, we can get used to it. So we're up to 203 now. It's taking a minute. 204, 205. Still makes that nice little blob in the middle of the print bed. We're up to 207. We're only supposed to go to 206. And it goes down. I see a string right here. Pull this little blob here in the center off. I think we may have to turn that up a bit. Oh yeah, we need to lift it a little bit. Now it started at 20. I had moved it to 30, and this is kind of thin, a little too flat. So I just moved it to 32. You heard 2 beeps. This, I think, might be a new scratch in the bed. What the heck? Let's take a look at that first layer. For some reason, the one on OctoPrint is not updating. I don't know why it's not updating over there in the right-hand top corner for you, but the middle one is now. So you can see that first layer. I know, I'm doing a tiny little cube. It's hard to see. And then it just did a picture for Octolap, so I shoved way off to the right. The new firmware, though, it does show the z-axis height. I'm liking that. We started off at 0.02 or at 0.04. I don't think that's right. I think we started at 0.2 and we're at 0.4. I think the decimal's off a little bit. Is it? Is it the other way around? We're at 600ths? We're at 6/10ths. And then I'll have to take a picture for Octolapse. I guess I could get him in a little closer. It'll mess with the Octolapse a little bit, but that's okay. This is more or less just a test. That's a little closer for you, I think. So it looks like the layers are going down really, really good. I think I lied to you. This is just going to be a video on the firmware, OctoPrint, Octolapse. I'll do my tracks ones after this. So according to that, we're on layer 0.08 millimeters. 8/100ths of a millimeter? I think it's 8/10ths of a millimeter. Well, yeah, that's 8/10ths of a millimeter. This will be a millimeter now. Yes. I think their decimals are off a little bit in the firmware. But I know what it means, and I know what it, it's fine. The only complaint so far, and I've only made 3 prints with it, the only complaint I have at this point, though, is in the firmware. There's a lot of red. The Creality logo's in red on the startup screen. On the home screen, it's red. I don't like red. But most of the time, I'm going to be on this screen here. So there's no red there. So I guess I can live with what they've done. especially since they took their time, their talents, they made it work. They made it work better than the stuff Creality put out. I have no right to complain. I'm sure everybody and their dog has their own preferences. Well, I'd like you to do that. I'd like you to do this. Yeah. And of course, I'm one of those guys too. I'd like it to be blue. But anyway, it works as is. It's got the baby stepping for the Z height. Creality had also done this, but it saves the EEPROM to the EEPROM on the motherboard instead of to the memory card. I believe the zidding that it did on spiral mode is fixed. I did do 2 test spiral cubes. No dots, no issues. I have to do a big base, obviously, to really know. But so far, it's got the information I wanted. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing it very well at what it's supposed to do. So hats off to them. Oh, must have just been me. I thought the print itself had just moved. Just my imagination. Never mind. But I'm going to have to go back through GitHub. They have a thing on there where you can donate or contribute to them. I think they very well much deserve it. And I think we all should be, anyone who downloads the firmware should contribute to them. Why wouldn't you? I mean, definitely. Other than this little scratch here, I don't know. Pretty sure it's my mistake, but I'll have to see what's doing that. Pretty sure that's new since the firmware update, but could be my issue with the bed leveling. I may have done something wrong. It's always a possibility. Oh yeah, one more thing. Switch over here real quick. I got a, there we go. I got a big filament delivery today from ZYL Tech. No, I have not used all of it. It is currently all being stored down there. I was getting really low on filament. They were nice enough to send my order to me before the new year. I ordered it on Christmas Eve. I really didn't expect to see it before the first of the year, to be honest. I just realized I had my camera switched, so you couldn't see the screen I was talking about. If I can hide the glare. No, I can't really hide it. Nope. Anyway, that one there shows the z-axis height. X-axis Y, Z, current flow rate, current feed rate, fan speed, nozzle temp 206 set to 206, bed set to 50 at 50, 10 minutes and 9 seconds in, 0% done. I don't know why the percentage is not going up. Oh, because you're doing it from Octa, that's why. But why this says 0.5 millimeters, I don't quite understand that. I think they got their centimeters and millimeters off. I don't know. I know what it means. Let's switch over to OctoPrint. How do we actually know? Yeah, we're 5.6. Yeah, we're 5 millimeters, and the printer says 0.5. So yeah, it's off a decimal point. Yeah. So they've got it, yeah, they've got it at centimeters instead of millimeters, I bet. I wonder if that's the same with the X and Y. Yeah, definitely 6 millimeters. So we got 40 minutes left? What? We're already 25% in. We've only been about 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes left to heat up. Let's switch these two screens. There we go. Take this down so you can see that screen a little better. There we go. Oh yeah, you can see the scratch right here. It was not there before if you look at my other videos. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that later and see what's what. I wonder what this looks like. Oh, and this did dim. You see it better now? No, it gets blurry when it's bright. That's what happens. Let me turn the big light off. You see it better now? Nope. What if we turn this light off? Still blurry. Yeah, it's just too bright. It's like my cell phone. It just blows out the camera. We'll wait for it to dim and I'll leave it alone this time. Big light up. I do like that plugin on OctoPrint. It's called Pretty G-Code. And don't get me wrong, the other one, G-Code Viewer, is good, but it's not pretty. It's just a G-Code Viewer. This one's pretty. As you can see by the big giant X in the middle of it, I'm doing it at 5% infill. And that's because I didn't want to do spiral mode because I wanted to make sure Octolapse knew when there was a level change. Spiral mode, it's not really a level, it's just one continuous print. I'm going to have to disable the notifications, it looks like. I don't need to have those constantly updating. It's basically just doing a layer and temp notification. It's the terminal. I don't need to have that there. If I wanted the terminal, I will just click on it. Have it. And I guess it's kind of cool to have it here. Looks like we're at the halfway point now. Let's say, well, it says 35%. More than 35%, must be counting that top layer. At the middle of the X. Obviously my computer doesn't like running the YouTube upload in the background, running this video stream, and showing a pretty G code, and running OctoPrint. It looks like I might even have Facebook in the background going on. I see it kind of slow down and then it speeds up. That's just my computer. It's not OctoPrint. I don't see any zits, although there shouldn't be any in this mode. I have not done the linear advance. I did do the PID tuning for the temps, but I do need to do the linear advance. Teaching Tech Michael has a really nice video on that. And I also need to do my E-steps. Although, honestly, looking at it, they look like they're probably good. We'll still check them, but it looks like it's good. And with that glossy black filament, it's hard to tell, but I think the corners might be bulged out a little bit. 90-degree perfect angles. You can fix that with the linear advance and the E-steps. And there's some other little things, obviously, you can do to fine-tune your printer and your slicer. I happen to use Cura 4.8. I probably would use Simplify 3D because it does have a couple of features I really, really like. I don't have any need for it that it's worth $150 to me, though. Whether they do the next update or not, I really don't care. Just the two little, I shouldn't say little, but the two features it has, like multiple processes for one single print, is one thing I really, really want. I might pay 20 bucks for it. I wouldn't pay 150. And you're all going to say, well, it's 150 for two. No, you can't share it. If you have one license and you open it on two different IP addresses, they close your account. Trust me, I have a few friends that have told me this, and a couple YouTube reviewers. But if you use it on just yours, like if you have your desktop and your laptop, I guess, I would never do that, honestly. I have no need for two connections at the same time. I slice it and then I use OctoPrint to print it. I don't need my slicer to be connected to my printer. I do see some fuzzing over here on this side. I don't know why. That's another thing I have noticed with the CR-6 specifically to it. I can't really call it stringing because it's hair. It's like it's hair. It's not stringing. And it is also because it's going over there for the octolap. Yeah, octolapse. If the octolapse wasn't on, it probably wouldn't be doing that. And it could be my retractions could be set a little faster or maybe a millimeter longer. But it's just strings. They honestly just wipe right off and they're gone. See, we're almost at 14 millimeters. And the printer Z-axis says I'm at 1.4. Yeah, they've got it set for centimeters. I'm pretty certain. because the decimal's off by one place point. Millimeters, centimeters, you know, it's 10. So oh yeah, tomorrow's New Year's Eve. The end of 2020. This will, well, be my last 2 videos this year. Won't do anything again until next year. I just realized that when I looked at the date, I'm like, oh, thank you, dear. So yeah, obviously, I don't have any big plans. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I kind of do. I mean, not going out and partying by any means, but get to go hang out with some friends. We have some food. Better be some food. How could they be friends of mine and not have food? Maybe play some games. Who knows? Printing from host. Oh, there it shows on there, 63%. Oh, it's getting the display readings from OctoPrint. 63%, level 78 is 99. I'm actually really liking this community firmware. I'm sure I don't even know some of the other little things, but it does give you a lot more information than the Creality one did. And obviously the capabilities are in the board, because I didn't change the hardware. It's just a firmware. Nice. And it's in yellow. I still think it'd be cool if it was blue. I'm going to be stuck on that. That's just going to be my thing. I'm going to be that guy. Oh yeah, now that it's dimmed down, let's see how it looks in the dark. See if I can actually focus right on it. I was hoping it would focus in on the Z. But you can see that it says 1.68. It's kind of fuzzy there in the top right corner, right there. I can't get my camera to focus. It's a pain in the butt. But anyway, it should say 16.8, or in this case 17. It's already jumped up. Turn the lights back on. Put you back on the print. So yeah, even though you can't see the percentage here because it's from OctoPrint, you can see it here. That's a nice little touch. Especially if you're using like OctoPrint from your phone, or if this was out in the garage or not in the same room with my computer and I'm out in the printer with the printer, I can just look at it and go, hey, that's where we're at. This particular print, it's very easy to tell how close we are But there's some things I printed, I'm like, oh, it's almost done. No, we're not even halfway. And Creality firmware didn't tell you that. I think it gave you a blue bar across the top. No, I take that back. It did show a blue bar for time, I think. I remember right. Oh, looks like it's doing the bottom of the Z now. I did not do ironing. I did not do Z-hop. So I just want to see what the edges and the top and everything look like as is. And then we can start fine-tuning things again. Kind of interesting to see if the bed goes all the way back or all the way forward. I believe it's supposed to go forward. You know, it's supposed to present the print. It's kind of cool actually watching it on the pretty G code, how it boxes the outside of the Z and then the outside of the cube. I'm only doing the 5% infill. And that's looking pretty decent. I mean, it's hard to see underneath the print head because that thing's a monstrosity. I've seen a couple other little mounts that some people have started making and some mods to it. And some on Thingiverse that are looking pretty good. It basically just gets rid of the whole fan guard and the fan mount, and you just have the fan off to the side blowing on for the part cooler. The fan on the hot end stays where it's at. Yeah, this firmware is so far pretty damn decent. What are we at? 83%? Looks like we're on layer 95 of 99. So according to that, about 5 more layers, 4 more layers. Top one will take a little bit longer. I think there's actually 2 top layers. Can't remember if I did 2 or 3 top layers. Probably 2. Oh, looks like it's doing the first top layer now. And that one might be iffy. That'll be covered up. I'm going to tell until it gets towards the back. No, that actually looked pretty good. Well, that is another thing. This bridge is really good. I think I did, I want to say it was like a 2-inch bridge that had like one little piece of filament that stringed underneath it. I wasn't even trying to do it. I actually screwed up and didn't put the tree supports on. But it was about a 2-inch bridge, and it was like almost straight across. It was at least it's 160 degree over. It wasn't flat, but it was pretty damn close. There's the second top layer. That might be the last one. No, looks like there might be one more. I'm going to take a picture. Going around the Z again. Doing the perimeter. Yeah, it looks like it's going to do a third top layer. those lines that it did around the Z before the infill. I've had issues in the past where I've had some gaps there. Hopefully my settings in Cura fixed that. Hopefully it's all pretty much smooth. Chep has a video on how to fix that. Well, that's in my Cura settings, so those should still be there. So I only changed the firmware on the printer. So my slicer settings should still be there. Damn, looks like it's going for a fourth top layer. Yep, 4 top layers. We're at 99 of 99. It's kind of nice when you're doing small prints and you can't actually see what it's doing. To have that pretty G-code so you can, you can see what it's supposed to be doing. That should be it. And it did present. Now it's done that in the past and then it went back. No, it stayed. Nice. Let's just jump straight over to this camera. And cooling down, good. Nozzle temp went to 0, bed temp went to 0. Other than a little bit of stringing there, or hairs, you can probably see that on the side where the camera zipped out and back. No ringing whatsoever, no lines, no ghosts. Damn, that's probably one of the best cubes I've printed. Oh yeah, what about the edges? Nope, they are smooth. So I said that gloss filament is hard to see. You don't hold it up directly in the light. Now, this is where everybody's like, oh, it doesn't stick. Oh, it doesn't stay. I didn't see. I was kind of lifting that. It did come off, though. Let's move over here where we might have a little bit better view of it. And I'll let the fans run and cool that off before I turn it off. This is what we printed. Let's see, do I have something white? There is something white. So there's the X. Oh, there we go. Oh, I had it. Yeah, it looks like there's a little blemish there. There might be a little bit. Let's see if I can move this up. Yeah, this glossy filament is really horrible to get on camera. Why is it so difficult? Okay, well, there's Z. Z printed pretty damn nice. There's Y, where those little hairs are. And then the bottom. And that's where it did that little, where it touches down and makes that little blip. I thought I scraped it off, but I must have missed it. Otherwise, bottom's perfect, no separations on the Z. Focus, you silly thing. Ah, there we go. No separations. It's got a couple of lines in there that are awkward. They do show up very well on the camera, but in physically looking at it, you can't see them that much. Let me get rid of that piece of paper. Go back to Y. Come on, there we go. And the camera makes it look 10 times worse than it is. I think it's just because it's that gloss black. Well, there the bottom shows up. Let's see if we get the top Z to do that. Oh, too much light. Either way, I think I'm gonna have to dial some in a little bit. I have to do the PID tuning, or not PID, linear advance, and the E steps. I haven't done any of that since the firmware update. Oh, there it focuses. Damn thing. Let's try that again. It won't do it. I need to get some better cameras. Anyway, now it did, sort of. So there it is, firmware update. I'll even show you where you can get that too, come to think of it. Over here, jump back to screen 2. So it's on the GitHub /CR6 Community /Marlin /release. You can see all that up there. Or you can just go to GitHub CR6 Community Marlin. We're on 0.5. Sebastian did all of this. Looks like he released it only about 17 hours ago. All their things, major updates. This is what it looks like. See that red? I'm not a fan of red. I can't complain. They did a lot of work on it. But definitely go to the GitHub. All the information's here. Where to get it, how to install it, how to use it. Detailed changes that they've done are here. 2 different motherboards, the 4.52, the 4.53. Make sure you install the right firmware for it. I think they were talking about the linear advance here. No, that's for the SKR CR-6 board. Comparisons to the Creality firmware, what they've changed, some bug fixes they found, some known issues that they know about, and they're nothing big by any means. Instructions on how to install the firmware, how to do the touchscreen, the different files that are available, the facts, how do you know which board you have if you don't know, troubleshooting, some final notes they have, and then down here are the downloads. This is a beta, this is a beta. We want the final, which one was it? I didn't think it was a beta. Now I gotta check mine because I did not think it was a beta software. Oh, it is. I was wrong. So it's still in beta. Which one are we on? Okay, so here's the 2 with the probe heater on, 5.2. These are the ones without the probe heater. You have the 4.52, 4.53. You download it. I don't know why I closed that. You download it and you get this. I grabbed both because I wasn't sure which one I had. But then you open it and you get this file. And that's the firmware that you need for the motherboard. And then here's the one for the touchscreen. You actually need to open this. I open it another place, but I'll do it here so you can see it. And then you have the one for the touchscreen. You need to put the DWin set on your memory card by itself, plug it into the touchscreen itself. They do have instructions in the download, so if you need to, you can do that. And here you can see all the redness. I thought changing these files changed it on the thing. No, somewhere in one of these configuration files is the colors. Yeah, here's the one I changed. This is what I wanted it to look like. But changing those colors here didn't do anything in the firmware. That's just strictly so you know what it's doing. So that was a bust for me. And I'll put these links down in the bottom. This one, I'll put this link down there. Thank you.